So if I get back to 1 acre, as somebody who wants to buy an acre of land, say around 80 kilometers or 70 kilometers or 100, between 70 to 100 kilometers from the Hyderabad, around Hyderabad, I want to know in terms of numbers, right? Roughly. So let us say if I buy in an approved layout, let's say DTCP layout there, versus when I buy, they're not exactly comparable, but versus when I buy through a 1 acre, an acre of land, roughly how much difference will the per acre pricing be, and that's going to give me what kind of returns?
Easily, if you look at 70 kilometers from the city, let's say a place like Shadnagar, where per square yard there are so many approved layouts there. The square yard price is easily 10 to 15,000 per square yard. So if you would want to own a 200 square yard plot, the cost would amount to roughly 25 lakhs to 30 lakhs for a 200 square yard plot. But the problem is, right now there is nobody to go and build a house there. It might take at least 15 to 20 years for somebody to move in and start building a house there, for the city to grow that big. So what happens, all the infrastructure, the roads, the electrical lines, the sewage lines, the drainage, etc., which are laid out now to be able to get approval by DTCP, would be obsolete, let's say in 15-20 years. So who is paying for it? You're paying for it and spending for an infrastructure which is not maintained and which would actually be obsolete by the time you use it. And all that cost is passed on to you.
So if today it is 200 square yards is around 25 lakh, let us say, yield per acre would be around
2,600 square yards.
Say 2,500, let's say. 2,500 into, so it's approximately 25 into 12 is 3 crore. 3 plus crore is what I'm paying per acre of developed area, yield, whatever the yield is. Versus, let us say if I buy an acre of agricultural land around that place today, how much might it cost me?
It might cost you anywhere, let's say if I'm talking about this area around Shadnagar, it should cost you 1 crore per acre.
Probably 1 to 1.5.
1 to 1.5.
1 to 1.5 and 3 to 3.5.
Yes.
Something like that. If considering most of the development today, because it's not taken care or too many things, it will go waste and you'll have to redo them anyways. The cost is almost cost of acquiring something similar, amount of land, or is actually double.
More than 3 times
More
easily.
than 3 times.
Because there is cost of not just the development cost, there is marketing cost involved, there is profit involved, somebody who's putting in money. If you take in...
Their return on investment. Let us say if a developer is putting money and then more money into development, their return on investment calculated, it will be much more.
And the marketing cost. So all this easily it would be at least 3 to 4 times. In reality, when something else has to be done there in future, because these are subdivided into small parcels of land, people cannot come together. Let's say you have to build a high rise. All these people of 200 square yards cannot come together to build something bigger. It's very tough. Deciding the use case for the land now for 20 years ahead might not be the ideal case. What is happening is we cannot keep consuming land away like this for plotted developments. And very soon there's going to be food shortage in the world, and agriculture land or agriculture produce might actually become more lucrative than all other commodities, might become more costlier. So keeping it to the same use case till we are sure about what is to be done there might be the more wiser decision and more sustainable decision.
But even when I think think from a purely investment standpoint, to be able to have land for any use case that day will be much better than to have some other type of land which we cannot really pool together to be there for some use case, right? So today or any day, because I think everybody accepts the fact, maybe not 20 years back or 25 years back, today I think everybody knows the fact that because land is a limited commodity, it is a very good investment opportunity, because most times it might not grow at an exponential phase, but at least most people, even in a bad market, they don't lose money. It's like credit markets. When you give loan to somebody in a bad economic scenario, it doesn't come back usually. So it's not the same case with land. So if they wait for 5 years, even if it doesn't go at
there will be better phases.
There will be better phases. At least they can get their money. It's safe somewhere. It's not like with some decent return on investment, if not like 10 times or 15 times. But given that it is wiser to invest in as good a price as possible and just safeguard it without doing a lot of development. But the same thing is actually very difficult for people to do it themselves. I think that is where 1 acre comes, right? To facilitate the entire process, where it is very difficult for, let's say, a software employee here, if he has to go somewhere to that Shadnagar or Vikarabad or some Tandur, and whatever his budget is, like do all the legal procedure and everything, and then safeguard and own an acre of land. That's why they also go to DTCP layouts and all, because they are more safer.
Yes, the effort is lesser, the risk is lesser.
But that's where you're coming in as 1 acre.
So there is a gap. We feel by bridging the gap, I think everybody benefits out of it. Yes, so what happens is, let us say somebody who can buy or wants to buy 20 or 30 acres, they would have the time and resources to be able to legally verify and to be able to afford it, to get it surveyed, and then get it at a good price, and they do smart investment in agricultural lands. But somebody who can afford only 1 acre, finding that land is very tough with the legal access. There are very less lands. Even if they're available, they're at a unnecessarily escalated price, because only few lands have legal access. Then comes the issue with legal verification. So most of the people won't have time, won't have energy, and won't have the know-how how to get this done. So that is why a lot of people are scared or driven away from this process. They won't even have the know-how to know the correct price. For that, you would have to continuously keep going and inquire, and would have to deal with multiple lands, and so that is a continuous process. The price discovery is a very important process. So after all this, to be able to invest in agricultural land just for 1 acre, it's a lot of effort. So it is a no-brainer that, okay, and definitely few people group themselves with friends and family, and they go and buy 10 acres or 5 acres in groups, and they get it at a better price. And with each of these people might have a different skill set or different understanding, and till some extent this problem is solved. But not everybody has these people to group to afford. Or after that, the problem that arises is amongst friends. If you buy 10 acres, everybody wants some land next to the road, everybody wants an east facing farm, things like that. Then it becomes this economic transactions, land actually becomes the pain point between the family and friends.
Even maintenance wise, right? Nobody wants to, once it's done, nobody wants to take the responsibility.
A lot of people who have approached me, they have approached me in groups saying that, okay, we are friends, family, but we don't want to disturb our relation because of some land or etc. So you please facilitate this process, and you find out a mechanism to keep, how do we allocate amongst ourselves, how to solve this problem. I'm dealing with such cases. Recently, we have closed one near Pargi in Vikarabad district, a beautiful land on the hilltop, where the family has approached me that please facilitate this process. And hardly 1 or 2 people from outside the family, but it's mostly the known people who have together picked up, and they're pretty happy about the allocation process and how smoothly we have facilitated this process.